And they are, I wouldn't say a little known, they are really well known across Africa, but not exactly in Kenya, because there's the perception that it could be an expatriate bank. But is it or is it not? We are now joined by Patrick Keta, who is the head of personal banking at Ecobank. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you.
It's good to have you.
Good afternoon.
Well, a lot of people tend to have this feeling. I guess maybe Kenya is a peculiar market, as is the rest of East Africa. But is Ecobank really an expatriate bank, or can anybody have an account with you?
Anybody can have an account with Ecobank. And to put it into context, Ecobank was established by the Economic Community of West African States, what is referred to as ECOWAS, as a regional bank. Today, the bank has presence in 36 countries across Africa, with a head office in Lome, Togo. The bank has 20,000 employees across Africa, 11 million clients, 1,500 branches, over 2,000 ATM machines. And the bank is basically owned by three main shareholders, one of them being the Qatar National Bank, which owns about 20%. The other one is Nedbank of South Africa, which owns another 20%. Then we have IFC, which is the investment arm of World Bank, owning about 15%, a pension fund in South Africa owning 5%, and finally 30% of our shares are floated in the stock exchange, three stock exchanges actually, in Ivory Coast, in Nigeria, and in Accra, Ghana. Today, Ecobank has presence in Kenya, and we set up here in 2008. We have about 400 employees, 29 branches, and 65 ATM machines. Ecobank was set up as an African bank to serve Africans, particularly in West Africa, and promote regional trade.
All right. At what point did you now decide, or what even prompted the opening of the East African branches? Because we're also seeing that, Kenya is meant to be the hub for about 18 other countries or 13 other countries. But why did you decide now to move to East Africa?
Absolutely, because being a very big bank in Middle Africa, the group decided to bring decision-making closer to the affiliates. And therefore, they thought that we've got a presence in Central Africa, we've got a presence in East Africa and Southern Africa, the region called CESA, which has about 18 countries. The group decided Kenya is a very strategic market, really a confidence in our country, and that they needed to have this as a regional hub to enhance decision making, and this comes with additional investment into the country in terms of capital and also infrastructure.
All right, and the banking industry, or the banking sector, beg your pardon, today in Kenya is going through some sort of volatility. And I do not know on your side if you have been affected with what is going on in the banking sector, but if not, how do you actually plan on sustaining your financial growth in an industry or sector like Kenya?
Yeah, the most important thing for Ecobank is corporate governance and the way we take care of our stakeholders, being our clients, our suppliers, the regulator. We also are very careful with how we handle our shareholder and their wealth, which we are expected to maximize as prudent agents of shareholders. And ethics and transparency is at the center of everything we do as a bank. Everything we do must be viewed in our own eyes and the eyes of the public as being moral. There's no question about immorality or immoral behavior. Everything we do must have very strong moral standards. We are grounded in compliance. We believe that the structures and systems we put in place of internal control, our audit function that is independent, and also the regulator are able to put us in good stead in terms of managing the bank. And most importantly, we've got a whistleblower program which is so serious that if anybody try to do something untoward, they would be whistle-blown immediately.
All right. So this has got nothing to do specifically with Ecobank, but the entire general banking sector.
Yes.
Customer confidence is not as good as it used to be, and I guess this is the most trying time for the entire banking sector with regard to customer confidence. Do you think there's anything that really needs to be done? Because we've seen the past 1 year alone, 3 banks being placed under receivership for not meeting their financial obligations in the list to say. But what can you do in the banking industry to ensure customer confidence? And people are not going to be in a state where they have to open 6 different accounts, because in the event that one bank is placed under receivership, they're able to bank on the next bank.
I think that's a very important question, because customers need to know when they're procuring services from a bank what to do about it. For big corporates, it's easy because they go through the procurement process. But for individuals, me and yourself, we don't have the benefit of that information. But I think I must laud the government of Kenya and the Central Bank of Kenya as regulators to step in very strongly when there was turbulence in the market to restore confidence in the industry. And right now, what we are seeing, in fact, with the support of Central Bank, the overnight lending rate has come low to as low as 3.5%, which is a very good sign, making it easier for banks to borrow if they need to and trade amongst themselves. Of course, you've got other big banks that can inject additional capital. And Ecobank, for example, is able to inject capital from the shareholders if that is required to just give the confidence that is required in the market. There have been discussions of mergers and acquisitions that are likely to take effect in the industry, also to just have a bigger balance sheet and muscle to restore confidence in the public. But I think the most important thing for us as a country, not just the banking sector, is ethics that I've spoken about. From a customer perspective, if customers borrow money, they should pay it back. They should keep their commitments. And likewise, the banks should not be doing things that will harm the society. And that message of confidence and growth in the wake of us being required to make profits is a very small balance, very delicate balance. But I think we have professionals in all these organizations in the bank. The only thing that we need to add in is corporate governance, and I see the ISPAC has come up and said any accountant who messes around will be deregistered.
Right.
The compliance the regulator, Central Bank, has said any bank that is found not to following the regulations will also get into problems.
All right.
So it's a good thing for everybody that these changes are coming and taking place in our country.
Let's talk about FinTech, or financial technology. How relevant is it in a day and age like now, where we are seeing more and more banks adopting digital banking?
Technology is very important, because the biggest problem we have as a society and any business is to push down the cost of operation. And the cost of operation is mainly on the old brick and mortar. So you can't have branches all over the place. If you have technology, it is easier to reach people all over the country or all over the region. And Kenya's mobile phone uptake is very, very high. And most banks in this country, Ecobank included, have adopted that channel as a means of reaching our clients. And we are going beyond that to just come up with other platforms for payments and settlements, which will make it a lot easier for customers to have financial inclusion. All
right. And, Ecobank as well held an Inter-Africa Trade Forum. But what exactly came out of it?
That was a very important forum, because we brought in regional traders, we brought in the regulator, Central Bank. We also had Ecobank researchers on macroeconomics, on oil and gas and commodity trade. They came in here basically to understand how movement of goods and services are handled in the region, to tell people what research was saying about macroeconomics, oil and gas in the 18 countries in the region, to look at the risk and returns that people can get by trading here. Of course, talking to the regional traders to find out from them what are some of your pain points. And the outcome was for us to have a discussion on how we are going to finance trade from a trade finance perspective, from a working capital management perspective, and also from a payments perspective. So the central bank regulator spoke about the payment platforms that we have in the region, but the bank also positioned some of the things we can do for our clients. And the main thing for Ecobank is the network advantage, saying we want to promote regional trade and have a bigger market for everybody. But that must be done at the lowest cost.
Okay. Well, I guess we can't really exhaust just about everything regarding the banking industry, but we will make time for yet another conversation on the happenings in the financial, or rather banking sector in Kenya today.